Hey, I'm going to try to read one of my books today. This one's called Retro Gamer. This is an incredibly awesome magazine. I didn't bring my glasses. I just realized, oh no. Okay, I was worried about my cat. He looks like he's got a little bit of scratch. And also, I did this whole video on the Castle Alliance playset. So I hope I'm in frame. If not, this is going to be a big waste of time. If you hear any music in the background, it's from the days at the dock fair going on down at the beach, which I'm really close to. I mean, I could walk to it if I wanted to, but I don't like crowds. It drives me crazy because I can hear the music, but I can't tell what they're singing. I probably wouldn't know it even if I was standing right in front of them. All right, so Retro Gamer is a magazine. I think it's actually made in England, but I think I got mine at Barnes & Noble's a while back. And I will probably have to post the date later because I can't see it right now. And I can't see fine details right now because I don't have my glasses on, so great. All right, try to make sure it stays in frame, but it's really hard to see because I'm under a tree and it's still bright out here. All right, so first off, 360. Yuck. We don't need no stinking 360. We have Atari. So this magazine is dedicated to retro gaming. You know, games back in the good days of gaming before it became all 3D and popular and modern and stuff like that. All right, so inside the 2600 is the main article. How Atari changed games, Double Dragon, Flight Sims. Oh yeah, those were popular back in the day. I never cared for them. I like flight simulators. Future Classic. All right. Now there are still people making games for Atari and other systems. I forgot what they're called, but they make cartridges. Then you can get the shells, or you can just buy a bunch of combat games and nobody wants their 50 cents. Last time I got some, I got them 50 cents to put labels on them. Oh, I should do a video of my cartridges that I made. Now I didn't make the games inside of them. I just made the shells or the stickers that go on them. But you can just basically clean out the old ones, put in a new chip, and program it. Homebrew. That's what they call it. They call it homebrew. Oh, Atari Warriors. Now that was a fun game. I really enjoyed that game when I was a kid. I liked it so much I got it from my Apple IIgs. I got one of the Ataris. I think it's Victory Road. It's one I have for the Apple IIgs. I still got my Apple IIgs games. I don't need them anymore. Golden Axe was a really good game. This is a very nicely made magazine. I wish they still made magazines. I like looking through them. But I guess it's all for the better because I don't have any more room for new stuff. I know I say that because I just got finished getting a bunch of new stuff for my birthday and now it's like I got nowhere to put it. Oh well, put more stuff in the building until the building's completely packed. Retro Diary. So I'm guessing May 25th to June 21st is when this was made of some year. I still don't know. But when it comes to retro, does it really matter what year? Because it's going to be impossible to tell. You're talking about stuff that's made way before this magazine was made. Not like reviewed a month earlier. I'm talking about stuff that's like 20 to 30 or even more. So let's see. We have June 1977. See how they got the dates a little bit backwards up here to Americans. It's not June 5th, it's 5 June 1977. And I can't read the fine details in there. I think it says the first Apple II. No, I didn't have the first Apple II, but I remember when they came out with some Apple IIs in my school. I got to use those. See, I was right on the verge. I was on the edge of all that. Like when the Atari, the video game crashed in 1984, the big game crash, I didn't even realize it was happening because I already had switched over from playing my ColecoVision and my Atari 5200 to playing my Apple IIgs because computers were the future. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. That was not a good game in my opinion. I played it, but I didn't care for it. And then Quest for the Rings. Oh, these must be like adventure games because Quest for the Rings was that game that I finally got. And it was really expensive for the Odyssey 2. And it was not that good. Sega Saturn, that's the way it looked over there. Not over here though. So February 1995. I don't think that's how old this magazine is. 95 would be late for for retro, I would think. I consider retro like 70s through, like mid 70s through mid 90s maybe. So like Sega Genesis is one of my favorite systems from what I would call my second generation. I guess my first generation would be Coleco and Atari 5200, although I guess first generation would be Atari 2600. I didn't have that. My neighbor did. Well, Atari VCS. Second generation would be like Coleco and then 5200. I think the Atari and television would be first gen in my opinion. Yard's Revenge was a lot of fun. Now, see, I had a ColecoVision. It had an adapter you can plug into it so you could play all those Atari games. Which, in retrospect, it's like, I don't know if it saved you any money. I remember it cost $60 for it. But I don't know back then if Atari by that time was already down to like $60. I don't remember. The Pac-Man was awful. My neighbor Craig had it. And I played it. I was like, this looks nothing. It wasn't horrible to play. It was just like, it looked nothing like the arcade. And back then, you wanted to like the arcade. The Empire Strikes Back, well, that was fun. My friend Michael Pittman had it. It did not, there was no arcade to it. Mystical Man looked like the arcade pretty much. River Raid was an Activision game. Pitfall was Activision. Combat was one of the very first games they made for Atari, which came with all the systems pretty much. Space Invaders was a game that really sold it. My cousin had one of those not pocket arcades, but the little tabletop arcades of Space Invaders. So I played it on his. And Yard's Revenge is one of my favorites on this page. E.T., awful game. I don't remember who had that, but I remember playing it. I thought, this is, gosh, awful. All right, Adventure. I remember like really playing Adventure a lot for some reason. I was determined to beat that game. Okay, so this was a good article. I remember, if you see any circles at the bottom of the page around numbers, it means I read that page. I had the Atari Lynx. It was pretty good. It just didn't have a lot of support for it. I can't remember a single game on there that really stood out. I remember I really wanted to play the Bill and Ted's game, but it just was weird. I remember I wanted the Jaguar, but when it came out, holy crap, it was $500, and I was like not willing to pay it. And no retail place had it. You had to get it at the flea market, and the guy down there had it for $500. This is what I had. I had the 5200. That was technically my first Atari system. The Atari adapter was my first thing that played Atari, I guess you can say. The 5200 play cartridges, it couldn't play the 2600 games. That's probably what made it bad. Probably killed the sales on it. It had great graphics though. The joysticks, I found them to be fine, but a lot of people had trouble with them, and they did wear out pretty quick. Atari computer camps? Wow. Zork too. I wonder if that's what got the word dork. Nintendo, when it first came out, I was not impressed. One of my friends had it. I played the game with the little robot and the gyromite. You had the professor had to go all over the place, and you had to get the robot to help you. Yeah, that was more annoying than anything. And then the gun game with the dog and the birds. Duck Hunt. Yeah. I wasn't impressed at first. I thought, this looks no better than ColecoVision, to be honest with you. Mega Man was a fun game on there, though. The Atari ST. There was an Atari, I think it was XE, that I really wanted. I've never seen one in real life, and I've only seen it in a computer magazine I had when I was a kid. I got it actually at a, what was it called? A gas station. It's Atari Age. Man, the scrolls are going crazy today. All right, the Flintstones. Never played it. Double Dragon was pretty good. We played that in the arcade over at the Fast Fair. My cousin and I would walk like 2 miles to go play that at Fast Fair. So Double Dragon was one of the games we played there. Z-Boz was another one. Or was it Bad Dudes? I think it was Bad Dudes we played. I don't know. They look the same in my mind. Oh, Thunder Force 3. Now, this is one of those games that's, okay, I love shooter games like this, but there was one game that you couldn't get in America. And when I got those, there was a Sega copy system. It had like 60 games built into it, made by Sega, made by that company. It had a port on it, and it said it actually is hacked. It'll play any game, like imports or not. So I went on eBay and I found a game that wasn't sold in America, and I had it imported, or I bought it from eBay, and sure enough, it played it. I mean, it was a British game, and I was surprised that it can actually play those games, because it played all my games fine. So you can put Sega Genesis games in it, or you can just play the 60 built-in games or whatever. I've never heard of Citadel. It looks like Miner, no, not Miner. What was it called? Downland or Spelunkin. It was one of those two names. I had, oh gosh, on that, the not Commodore, TRS-80 color computer. I never played Alien Syndrome, I don't think. There's a side-scroller version of that, I think, on the Atari 7800 I had. But I'm not sure if it's called Alien Syndrome, but it looks a lot like that, but it's a side-scroller. That looks like Mana's Enemy's Revenge or Downlander or Spelunkin or whatever it's called. Now you can get Retro Gamer on your PC. Actually, I bet this is on the computer on Archive. I need to check that out when I get back inside. I really like Sega. Sonic was a really cute game. Sonic did not sell the game system to me. What actually sold it to me was one of the two Mickey Mouse games. I think it was the Castle of Illusion. When I played that, I was just absolutely amazed at how adorable Mickey Mouse looked. It was like, that looks just like the real cartoon. Because I grew up with Atari and Coleco, and those were close, but it wasn't that close. I never had the game Diablo, but I feel like I've seen it or something. I don't know, maybe my little brother. No, my brother had a game called Little Devil for his, I think he had a Commodore or something. He had some little computer that was like, he wasn't really into it as much. He just wanted a computer to play games on. Wow, that's a lot of really good art for all those covers right there. That's one thing I miss about computer games. They had like big boxes with beautiful art. Oh, you know, I do have like on the shelf, I have all my, at least one of every system I still kept a game, and kept the box I made the artwork for. Because I put all my games in those plastic boxes that look like the Sega Genesis boxes. Actually, before I found out there was such a thing, I would make printouts and put them in boxes that were from like the VHS clamshells that came with like Thomas the Tank and crap that you can get it back then for $1 at Goodwill, which is probably, you can go for nothing now. That beep beep noise, that's a boat going through. See, our beach is actually on the island, and so I can't technically walk to the island unless I walk across a bridge, but I can walk to the waterway. In the wintertime I do that some. The Legend of Grimrock. I used to have an RPG game, and I can't remember what it was, but it was one of those tape games. It was a cassette tape, like literally a cassette tape. And you would say go in room, pick up object. You'd have to give it very, very limited commands. And it didn't know every word, so you had like a list of words you can use. So basically, it taught me how to type, really. Like pull, door, open this, go in room, light torch. You didn't see a thing. You had to, it all played out in your mind. So there was nothing on the screen but words. And that was entertaining back then. I played that for a long time, like hours. You know, I think that's one thing we've gotten so busy. I feel like I can't sit and do something for that. I feel like I have to be doing something else. Like maybe dusting and cleaning, like I should be doing more of. And I can never call it up like I used to. But when I was a kid, man, that, and I had it in a television game that I could play for hours. Now I don't even think I can handle it. Some island game where you're on these, what was it called? It was something about Utopia, I think was the name of it. Next month on sale. All right, so we know that this is a 2012 edition now. So it's a 2012. Next month on sale, 21st of June 2012. By the way, I wonder, can everybody, like, these are not the American versions of some of these. Like, that's the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, but that's not the American version. Who can name all these systems? Pause it and guess. Okay, N64, Atari 2600, PlayStation, Ultra 64, or I mean, not Super. If I say Ultra 64, but that would be that one. So Super Nintendo, but not the American version. Maybe Super Famicom. I wonder, do they look the same in England? Because I didn't pay attention. Of course, we didn't have the internet back then. So the Sega Master System, that was before I got interested in Sega. The Jaguar, the Sega, see the little swirly there? Dreamcast, and the NES. And there's something in the forefront. I think it's, okay, in England it's called Mega Drive, but in America it's slightly different looking. It's called Sega Genesis. Wow. All right, so that's this magazine and Retro Gamer. Now, if you have any of the editions of Retro Gamer, let me know. And I don't know, if I see it on archive, I won't put the link on YouTube in case, because for some reason that YouTube like just erases links when you put them on there. But you know, I'll tell you, hey, look on archive, and you can probably find this edition in there. Because on archive you can find a lot of good stuff like magazines and stuff. Most of the magazines I have are not on archive.org. Because I wish I could just put all mine away, and then I guess if I ever want to go back and look at something, I can look at it digitally. I know I have more of this particular, like, Retro Gamer, the magazine. I have a few more of these somewhere. But I haven't done a video game magazine in a while, so let me know if you are interested in seeing more. I have a box somewhere out in the building. It will be a while till I can get to all of them. Because right now we're still trying to get stuff put away, and that means I can't really get stuff out. And if I had known people would be interested, I would have kept them out, but I didn't know. All right, well, thanks for watching. Have a great day.